I watched The Munsters, Rob Zombie. People hate Rob Zombie. They have a personal vendetta to hate Rob Zombie's films whenever they get the chance. And I'm no diehard Rob Zombie fan. I liked his take on Halloween. That's a hot take, apparently. Halloween 2 wasn't as good as Halloween 1. As soon as there was ghosts and like unicorns, or the horse, I should say, it kind of threw me off a bit. It was definitely a more artsy take on Halloween, and that doesn't mean it's bad. It's just not for me. But the films were well directed. You can say that you don't like his script or his direction towards his take on the characters, but to say those movies weren't shot well or they're not well made films, that's just simply not true. Objectively, they're well made films. He chose to use a different camera, like film lens, a different aspect ratio. Like there's creative choices being made there. Sometimes you may not like that, but oh well. So yeah, his Halloween films were pretty good. Devil's House of a Thousand Corpses is my favorite out of Devil's Rejects and Three from Hell. Out of Devil's Rejects he likes that washed out look now when it comes to his horror movies, like grays or browns, a lot of dirt. He films like in the desert a lot. When it was the House of a Thousand Corpses, there was a lot of blue lighting, green lighting, a lot of fog, a lot of atmosphere. And that's why I really dug the Munsters. He brought that kind of aesthetic back. If he wanted to say that they exist in that universe, I would believe it. I would believe it. Now, liking the aesthetic of a movie and liking the movie is kind of two different things. I was never a Munsters fan. It's just cornball to me, Like, what is this, Frankenstein? Like, that's in this, like, try-hard Dracula. That's what I thought when I was a kid watching the Munsters. And then, the Addams Family, same kind of deal. But for some reason, the Addams Family was more iconic, probably because of the successful movies from the 90s that I grew up with. So the definitive, obviously the winner here is the Addams Family. But when it comes to the Munsters, Rob Zombie doesn't have that luxury of like a 90s version that exists. He has to go off of the 50s Munsters? The 80s? How long did the Munsters go for? He has this certain thing that he has to abide by, right? People want the black and white. They want the off humor still. They want it to be the show. He wasn't allowed to film it in black and white, we found out. So he had his hands tied. He's like, if I can't do it black and white, I'm going to do my thing. I'm going to get my lighting equipment out. I'm getting my blue lights out. I'm going to shoot this thing like a Beetleborgs episode. I'm going to get wacky with this thing. I'm going to have fun with it. He had fun with this. Was it a good movie? It was fine. When you have like What We Do in the Shadows, I think that's like the standard of like oddball humor with vampires and that kind of thing. That's gold standard right now. And then considering that this was a PG and he wanted to make it PG, that was his choice. I think if he would have done the thing that people thought he was going to do, it might have turned out to be a better flick. If this was like a PG-13 R, like not hyper violent, just maybe the gore, he could have hyped up the gore aesthetic with the Munsters. It's not, you can do that. Like What We Do in the Shadows is gory, but it's not gory. But it's TVMA. But it's hilarious. So I can see what Rob Zombie was trying to do with the Munsters. And I enjoyed the fish out of water vibe when they go to Los Angeles. And like, where'd all the hot people go? Like all the freaks, like all the creepy looking people. I liked that fish out of water vibe. People have a problem with his wife being the lead. That's what he does. Adam Sandler brings his boys in his movies. Like these people, we know what we're getting when you're getting a Rob Zombie movie. So you got to set that aside when you're watching the flick. Now, if you don't like her performance, then that's something else. I didn't mind it. It reminded me of the Munsters. No, as far as like the length, it could have been 20 minutes shorter. But I'd rather have a beefy movie than like if it was too short and whack. It's like, well, it is what it is. I really dug it. Just you can eat some edibles or whatever if you want something trippy to watch. If you want to like laugh out loud kind of thing, this really isn't it. But if you like this Halloween era type of thing, October rolls around and you want to put something on, you can throw this on, smoke a few bowls. You know what I'm saying? Have a good time. Watch the Munsters or whatever if it's on. It's not something I want to get the Blu-ray because there's a commentary. I want to watch the commentary and listen to the commentary. I would give this movie, like a B, not like a C plus B. I'm not a huge Munsters fan, and I guess the Munsters fans really some people really love it and some people really hate it. They're not digging the lighting choices, but Homeboy couldn't shoot it in black and white, the whole movie. So he's got his hands tied. What are you gonna do? I'm not trying to make excuses for the guy. But yeah, he's always has unnecessary hate. Like every time he puts a movie out, fucking Rob Zombie. Blah, 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 blah. It's like people are like, what the fuck is like if you don't like his movies, then just don't watch them, dude. Oh, well, I like the Munsters, so I'm gonna watch it. Don't shut the fuck up. Obviously, it's not the original actors from the 50s, and like they're holding that against like, well, it's not like the original cast. He's like, yeah, do you want the Munsters or not? Or not? I don't know. I had no stake in this. It was fine. It was a fine watch. It was like a Beetleborgs episode. It's lighthearted fun. Kind of like Hocus Pocus 2. I started watching that. I haven't finished it. I fell asleep. It was late. But from what I saw, it was fine. That's a whole nother conversation. It was fine. From what I saw from Hocus Pocus 2, the origin story of the Sanderson sisters, I would have liked that, a whole movie like that. I don't need to have them as adults or whatever, but I haven't gotten to that part yet. I didn't make it that far. I fell asleep. So, the Munsters. Have you seen the Munsters? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you tap out? Some people just tapped out. They're like, you know what? I made it 20 minutes. I made it 30 minutes. I had to tap out. And granted, at the 30-minute mark, I was kind of questioning it too. But when they left their original castle and they went to Los Angeles, that's when it kind of picked up for me. Because it's like a fish out of water thing. It was a different vibe. Other than that, yeah. What did you guys think of the Munsters?